The 2026 Wawa Cup Series season has been very competitive, and we have seen some very interesting things up to this point. We're at an interesting racetrack here today, and we're excited for this one. It is going to be a lot of fun seeing these Wawa Cup Series drivers around one of the most technical oval tracks we have on the circuit, the narrow Darlington Raceway. Has hosted the finale the past 3 seasons. It'll be the penultimate race later on this year, but we also have another race early on in the season, and it's this one right here for 74 laps, the Lady in Black. This is the Gro Thru 400. Credit to Matt Tuck for sponsoring this race. Thank you so much for that. We're happy to be here on a glorious Saturday afternoon for the 7th race of the season here in the 2026 Wawa Cup Series. Let's see how it all goes down here from the Darlington Raceway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Darlington Raceway here in Darlington, South Carolina, one of our favorite racetracks on the schedule here in the Wawa Cup Series each and every year. And this is one of Duncan Ward's favorite racetracks as well. He swept both Darlington races a year ago en route to his Wawa Cup Series championship. Of course, the Southern 500 in September has been the finale the past 3 years. That's going to be the penultimate race later on this year, as we're going to have the finale at Homestead for this season. And this is a racetrack, if you do well at, you have a very good opportunity at doing well throughout the rest of the season. And look at who we have on the front row. How about Pacific Racing? Locking up the front row of Thomas Troxell and Blaine Keys. Troxell in this race a year ago blew up. He did not have a good finish, and that was in the middle of his very poor streak that ended up costing him a shot at the chase. And Blaine Keys has yet to go to victory lane yet this season. I know he wants to have an opportunity at the championship. He's 7th in the standings coming in. Going to be fascinating to see what Team Warp can do here in this race. But I've got a surprise for you. You can probably already tell based off the commentator list. We got an all-GRT booth for this race, and I'm actually going to step away, let Matt Tuck, Stuart Gradden, and Max Davis call the race here. Max Davis, welcome. This is your first Wawa Cup Series event, and your team has done a pretty solid job so far this season. Both Isaac Nichols and Nathan Smith in the chase currently. Isaac Nichols starting in 3rd. What are your expectations for your two drivers coming into this one here from Darlington?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Really a big honor. We've been consistent so far this season. That's pretty good average finishes, but I think we just, this is a track where, going into the chase, one of the last races. So doing well in this race and probably just wanting to take that next step up and competing for the win here. That's my expectation.
Of course, we're going to have to see what you guys can do. Of course, you guys won 4 times last year with Isaac and Nathan. Yet to go to victory lane. As a matter of fact, Stuart, GRT's yet to go to victory lane in any race. You guys were so close at it at Phoenix when Logan Williams was 1/1000th of a second behind Jack Haas. What do you guys need to do to work together as a team? Of course, you did it a couple years ago on the Southern 500. What do you guys need to do to get a race victory here in the Gro Thru 400 at Darlington?
Well, you just mentioned it. We've got to work together as a team. You mentioned that Southern 500 to end the year when Ludovic won the championship. Matt was second that day, of course. It was a great day for Grand Autosport, and the two of them worked really well on the track, and that's something that's going to come into play. I mean, Darlington is such a heavy tyre wear track. It comes down to there'll be times where we'll have to work together. You look at the 2 Pacific cars who start on the front, they're going to work together to try and get themselves out into 1 and 2, where they maybe battle amongst themselves for the lead. Isaac's up there, he's in a good position. You've got other cars, up in the top 10 and so. As I said, got to work as a team. We've got to nail the pit stops, keep harping on about that. Got to get the strategy right, and got to have a little bit of luck maybe in case a caution comes out or whatever. So, even though we haven't won a race this year so far, the pace has been pretty pleasing. You got guys up in the top 10 in points, and very competitive. Braden Perez is leading the championship at the moment, so even though we haven't won yet, there are lots of positives and to take from the start of the season so far.
And of course, we'll have to see how it ends up shaking out for you guys. But of course, Matt, this has been a very competitive season up to this point, and we saw Trey Bartow get a race victory at Las Vegas, and he worked his way through the field and just had one of the fastest cars in that race. He sits 11th in the standings. Of course, Jack Haas, a two-time winner at Atlanta and Phoenix, and these are kind of those intermediate-type tracks. Skep Silver's been really good at a lot of these intermediate-type tracks as well. But really the first time we've seen Pacific Racing get up front all the way. Blaine has had a couple of great runs this season. Troxel a little ways down, 20th in the points. But how do you see this race playing out with all the different drivers and all the different teams and alliances we've got up front in this race and in all the races we've had this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny to think about, the kind of technical alliances that have really started to form in this series. There's a bit of Formula One feel almost to it, but it's, first time we've seen signs of life from the Toyotas. Obviously, Kirsten Bell won Daytona. The Heartland cars were unbelievable. Should have won 1-2 in that race. And Aaron Lukes just won a pole position. Johnson Jameson's been really fast. So, we've seen the Toyotas have pace, but this is the first time that the Pacific cars have shown this kind of pace. And I'm blanking a little here, but this is the first time since Chicagoland of last year they really have come to play on a more traditional intermediate to this level. So, a good sign for them, but, I mean, they have tough competition here. They have a lot of great drivers in the field. Duncan Ward swept this baby last year, and he starts 7th, so they are in a great spot, but they have a lot of work to do today to fend off the horde behind them.
Even though this is a bit of a shorter race than the Southern 500, it is still a very difficult race to win. And Stewart mentioned the tire wear. We're going to expect about a 4-second fall off, and we'll see if we get that in real life tomorrow. I'm intrigued to see that. Denny Hamlin said we're going to see that, and Denny Hamlin's usually pretty smart. He's your guy, Matt, so we'll see. But hey, we know we're going to get it here today, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing how the pit strategy works out. Only one stop, just a little bit past halfway, is that fuel run and that tire run for these guys. So this is the one-stop race, in the Southern 500 later on in the year is the two-stop race. But it's going to be fascinating to see how these 74 laps play out. Here's how they line up in the championship standings, and look at how close it is up front. Keep in mind, too, you get a race victory, you get 51 points guaranteed, 52 if you lead the most laps in the race, and you could have a 12-point gap on the guy who finishes second now. And that is huge. Once we get later on in the season, we got these guys battling for the chase spots, and then we got guys battling for the championship. You could, in theory, have someone who's 30 points behind get a race victory in a final race and still win the championship if the guy they're defending or trying to beat in that championship race has a bad day. So a huge swing if you get a race victory here in the series now, and it means so much more, and that's going to cost some guys in this championship. If you go to victory lane a lot, you're going to have a better season. But Braden Perez, Tanner Parton, neither of them have gone to victory lane. That's how consistent they've been. 1 point separating Perez and Parton. Parton's been the points leader majority of the season up to this point, but Perez was able to jump him there. Parton still had a great run at Las Vegas. Jack Haas, a 2-time winner this season, 2 points behind our points leader, Braden Perez. He's had an excellent run here in that 39 machine. Rogel Dorn's had an excellent run as well. This is exactly what Rogel wants, even though he has not won yet this season. 5 points behind for Rogel Dorn. That's a lot better than being 5 whole race worth wins of points behind the points lead like he was last year. Skep Silver has had an excellent rookie season. He has come up strong in a lot of these intermediate races. He's 8 points behind, of course, won the opening event at Homestead. Johnson Jameson, another pleasant surprise here to this season, 12 points behind. And then you got Blaine Keys, 20 points behind, having a much better season up to this point than he did last year. And, of course, he's on the outside pole. See Aaron Lukes, Isaac Nichols, Andrew Miller, Trey Bartow, Nathan Smith currently in the chase. Logan Williams, 8 points out of the chase cutoff. Laura Chung behind him there. A little bit of a gap going on around that 12th position, so we're already starting to see some separation there. This is the 7th race of the season, 22 race regular season. After this race today, only 15 races until we set the 12-driver chase for the championship here in the Wawa Cup Series. Thomas Troxel, Blaine Keys on the front row. Parker Davis Enterprises and Isaac Nichols alongside Carson Miller's had a great season as well. Miller's been up front in a lot of these races, though he has not necessarily gotten the finishes to prove it. He's yet to get a top 10, so we'll see what he can do here today. Andrew Miller, great season for him with NS Racing, though he did not have a good run in Las Vegas. Actually got into the wall and just took himself out of contention in that one. Johnson Jameson alongside him there in row number 3. You got Duncan Ward, winner of the last 2 races here, defending winner of this race, driving for Team Williams, 33rd in the standings. He has the best average starting position and one of the worst average finishing positions this year. It has not worked out well for this team. We'll see what he can do alongside 2-time winner Jack Haas. And there's the other Parker Davis car, Nathan Smith, starting to the inside of Willow Springs winner Sarah Taylor in row number 5. There's Skep Silver starting in 11th. Logan Williams starting in 14th. Actually won the Southern 500 back in 23. Trey Bartow, our last winner here in the Wawa Cup Series. Braden Perez, our points leader. And second in points right behind him in Tanner Parton. There's Rogel Dorn starting in the top 20 for this race. We got the 67 of Aaron Lukes, who's had a great season there for Heartland Racing. And Paulus did not have a good starting position. 26 starting spot for him in the 54. Had a miserable run in this Southern 500 last year. Alexander Rowe, who's had a great season, also starting deep in the field in the 72 for Triad Racing. And we go through the field right here. Laura Chung had a top 5 last week. She's a little bit deeper in the field than she would like. Yeah, Nicholas Cameron back again, driving the hot seat for NS Racing. And hey, it's throwback weekend, at least in our hearts. I know they got rid of it, but it's still throwback weekend. And of course, we got the Greg Biffle scheme there for Racing Motorsports and Matthew Burnett behind the wheel there. All right, I'm gonna pass it along to Matt Tuck, Stuart Gratton, and Max Davis. They're gonna have the call for you here for this Gro Thru 400. Enjoy the race. Let's get these guys to roll off here from the Darlington Raceway.
Well, we should be in for a fun one here today, folks. Darlington Raceway never disappoints. I should say it never disappoints most people. It's let me down more times than I care to admit, but I digress. But we're going to in for a great race of action here today. 74 laps. Do the Pacific Cars and Team Warp have anything to respond here to Nexus and GRT dominance, and that hair gel machine of the number 4 Trey Bartow was absolutely lethal last weekend. But Stuart, then Max, who are we picking to win this race?
Well, less said about the Southern 500 last year, Matt. I think it's fair to say. I'm going to take the guy on the outside pole, Blaine Keys. I think he's in a very fast car. I think he gets clear of himself. I know the outside's not where you want to be at the start, but I think he gets clear, and I think he's going to win this race.
I'm going to go for someone a little bit farther back in the field. Duncan Ward. I know he's had a terrible season so far, but I don't know. I feel like this is the race where he kind of gets himself back into the chase contention and sets his season out on the right foot here. But my guys can win with the front, even in the back. Get lucky with a good call.
Then keep an eye on Nathan Smith here today. He was runner-up to Duncan Ward last season at this exact race, and he was nip and tuck with him the whole way. But sit back, relax, and enjoy, folks. 74 laps of action here on a Saturday afternoon, and we are green flag racing in the Gro Thru 400. Well, it was not a good start for Stewart's pick to win of Blaine Keys, as he got jumped by absolutely everybody. But Max's pick, Duncan Ward's moving up through the field. But more importantly, his driver, Isaac Nichols, is going for the lead to the inside of Thomas Troxel. And they come down the back straightaway. Troxel's going to just touch the wall a little bit here. But Isaac Nichols just got his first DCS win driving for you, Stewart. And he's to the lead early on.
Yeah, good move. You want to make these moves as quickly as you possibly can here at Darlington. Mention that high tyre wear, and Miller gets passed up to second as well. Andrew Miller, that is. But you want to make these moves stick early on when the tyres are fresh before they disintegrate, and it becomes really difficult to make overtakes. I think we all remember a certain Angel Gutierrez incident from that Southern 500 a few years ago. So, but Duncan Ward off to a good start. Carson Miller made that move down to the inside. I thought it was going to be Blaine Keys who was going to get himself clear. It was actually Carson Miller who ended up getting himself clear. He's 5th at the moment. Keep an eye on the 41.
Yeah, and I think this is a great day for Carson Miller, Johnson Jameson. Anytime you come to these more traditional intermediates, for teams that have kind of struggled over the past couple of seasons, or can be a little hit or miss on these types of racetracks, always interesting to see what they can bring to the show here. And Carson Miller stacked in between some really strong race cars, but Mateus Bento, Leonard Koshmer, the sophomore driver, and the rookie struggling here early. Our points leader, Braden Perez, has found his way from 18th to the inside, though. He's moving up early. Rogel Dorn is moving up early. I can see Logan Williams in the back is also moving. Philip Torres moving as well. So we got a couple of the GRT boys moving up here quickly. But Max, it's getting spread. Oh, Max, that's not where you want to be if you're Thomas Troxel.
Yeah, not at all. scared me a little bit, hoping he didn't hit the 06. But yeah, I thought these Pacific cars were going to get off to a little bit of a better start here, but they just haven't seemed to got quite as much pace as these other guys have. I mean, the 32 kind of got stuck on the side, but he fell back quite a bit. So see if they can recover here.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Mateus Bento's car is just not connecting to this racetrack here. And I mean, you got to give him some props here. And I actually want to touch on Dracoan Racing real quick, but they have looked so much stronger here this season. Scap Silver is looking like a championship threat as the season runs, and he is just getting better and better. Moved up from the Truck Series, driving for Parker Davis Enterprises last season. Oh, that's just getting... Oh, to the inside wall, and Sam Vitale down the back straightaway. Are we good? Oh, be careful, re-merging into the field, boys. Slides in front of Webb. Oh, my
be careful.
goodness. Oh, that's going to be a big one.
There they go. The 0 car just, wow, unfortunate victim right there. And nowhere to go.
Oh, my goodness. That is a tough break there for Bernardo de Oliveira. Didn't do anything wrong except be in the wrong place at that time. Stuart, we've seen some crazy remerges happen in this game. I thought half the field could have been absolutely dead to right there when Koshmer and Sam Vitale came sliding back up the racetrack like that.
Yeah, I thought obviously they got quite a few cars that were in the outside wall and all that, but really that could have been so much worse. Unfortunate for de Oliveira, caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time and ends up spinning going to the back of the field. So, but yeah, I mean the cars in the outside wall as well, they're going to have to repair the damage. I imagine they're going to pit. Here they come. So, even though we're only on lap 9, the tyre wear, the tyres are pretty worn out at this point. So you want to come down, get those fresh tyres now, and while you got the opportunity, and it does, maybe throw the strategy out of whack if this race stays green after this yellow. So we'll see how it plays out. But Nichols is going to lead everybody down as anticipated. So you've got to nail your pit stop here. You cannot make any mistakes if you're any of these teams, especially right here up at the front of the field, because you may not be able to get back up to the front with how hard it can be to pass here at Darlington.
Well, and we just kind of saw there, you can get yourself in some trouble. We've seen over the years, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble here at Darlington if you put yourself in the wrong place. I mean, I won't specifically say who, what, or when, but, sometime late last fall, wrong place, wrong time, and then you just can't get out of it. Thomas Troxel and Blaine Keys, though, both hit the wall. Thomas Troxel hit the wall a lot. We'll see if that really has any impact here. Nobody's coming past Nichols yet on pit road. The Parker Davis pit stops of last season come back there, and it's going to be first and fourth for Max's 2 drivers. A slow stop for Keys, but as I think we were kind of expecting there, Thomas Troxel, a really long stop there. That is not what he needed, but I'm not surprised by it. We're only on lap 10, though. We'll be about lap 12 or 13 when we come back to the restart. And we're going to have some heavy hitters up front. It's Isaac Nichols, last season's Darlington winners of Duncan Ward, Andrew Miller, and Nathan Smith, our top 4. And let's take a quick commercial break here as these drivers sort it out and take a look at the replay to see why we're under yellow here early on at Darlington.
So Leonard Koshmer here in the 93 gets shuffled out of the groove here by Braden Perez. And then there's going to be a bit of contact out at turn 2 here with Alex Sanvitale. That's really kicks off what is to come, unfortunately. And we'll see. Is he going to get the outside wall? He might have stayed out of the wall. So you see Troxel get the outside. No, he did. He drilled the outside wall. Sanvitale has nowhere to go. Runs into him. Kind of an awkward spot. They slide back into each other. And then this is actually... They do a pretty good job keeping the car straight. It would have been very easy for Sanvitale to spin into that inside wall. Instead, they just both go into the inside on the driver's door. And then, as you see, and they save it there as well. And then, as Koshmer and Sanvitale will come back up the racetrack, that's just going to jam everybody up. And out of turn 4, it's going to be poor old Bernardo de Oliveira who's going to end up on the worst end of this. You see San Vitale rejoin, a little bit of contact there with Gutierrez, just a little bit, not too much, but it's going to be up ahead. And you see that bright yellow Pennzoil Chevrolet. He ends up on the worst end of this. So it's San Mateo maybe that gets into the outside wall in front. No, it's Gutierrez and San Vitale. They make a bit of contact. Yep, right there. Turn up into the wall, and they all squeeze up in the wall. San Mateo has nowhere to go, and De Oliveira hits the 61 at an awkward spot, and around he goes on the front. So luckily, nobody hits the zero in that, and it just goes for a spin down the front. But and luckily, no one else was involved. That could have been a lot bigger of an accident. But that was very early here in this race, obviously in lap 7. So disappointing for De Oliveira, disappointing for all those drivers involved. A lot of damage on a lot of cars now.
See the 93 just get a little tight, and then the car just pushes up. San Vitale nowhere to go, and then they both take a hard hit into the outside wall. Do a pretty good job of merging up the track, and they're 3 wide, and that's just never going to work at Darlington. Gutierrez, he really didn't have that much space, and De Oliveira gets knocked around. We'll see how those guys all do. See if they can stay competitive here. Back to the green flag.
And welcome back here, folks, to the Gro Thru 400. 11 laps in the books here, coming to lap 12 when we get the restart. Max, I mean, we've obviously all I myself have kind of memed it in the power rankings. Despite the success that we've seen Isaac Nichols have over in Wawa National, the pace is here, but the strategy has not been. But, is that a good sign here that early on you guys fast out the gate and the pit crew was lightning quick there for both cars?
Yeah, I don't think the pit stops themselves have been a problem. It's just more of the strategies. But, it's affected me in the Walt Cup Series that many times. It's unfortunate that it's affected my drivers, but hopefully we can just get it under control this race. I think we should be fine. I'm not trying to jinx it, but hopefully we'll be good.
Yeah, it should be definitely a good sign, at least through a couple rounds here. The pace in those cars is good, but I mean, Stuart, as we're coming back to the restart here, it's going to get quite exciting. And the guys who ran 1-2 last season and the car who ran 3rd, Andrew Miller, they're all right back where they were from a year ago in this race. And how fast do you think these guys can get by Isaac Nichols here? What's his chances of holding them up here as we come back to the green?
He got a good jump there. He just got a little bit of a gap on Miller, but I think those 2 Nexus Dodgers, they've got maybe a little bit more straight line speed. So we'll see. They've got off to a good start. Now, Andrew is an aggressive driver. Will he make a move here into turn 3? We talked about wanting to make a move while striking while the iron's hot. I mean, he got those fresher tyres, so it's not quite close enough to make a move there into 3 and 4. So good restart for the 6. Good restart really across the whole top 10. Everybody's pretty well bunched up together down to Torres. So, good restart. Everyone's still on the racetrack, by the way, even after that incident. So, tough break for the 0. Here you go. Striking while the iron's hot. Here comes Miller.
And now Nichols has got to be careful here. He's keeping it off the wall for the moment and striking while the iron is hot with the opportunity in front of him. Here comes Nathan Smith. Andrew Miller to the lead for NS Racing. Nathan Smith in the 06, teammate to Isaac Nichols, is trying to go through for the 3rd position. And he's trying to if he can at least fight the 23 to Duncan Ward, he's going to help his teammate Isaac Nichols out, hold that 2nd position. And now Smith is going to be tasked with holding the line against Carson Miller, Skep Silver, Tanner Parton, Johnson Jameson. This is some fantastic pace for a full-time rookie here that I wasn't expecting from him at Darlington, but hats off to him because he clearly has got game here. But then it's Rogel Dorn and Philip Torres, Blaine Keys just outside the top 10. They're all single file here, though, on this opening restart. Which is kind of surprising. Miller's the only one who's really making an overtake, but Nichols is going to get to the back bumper, and Here comes the 6 of Isaac Nichols trying to go back to the lead around the inside of the 97.
Looked like you know when they used to train at Talladega, kind of looked like that for a little bit right there. But Nichols made the overtake, but Miller back to the inside. Ooh, he drove it in hard. Now Nichols just can't quite clear the 23. They're going to be side by side off the corner. Ooh.
Oh, Smith's in the wall. Not where you want to be if you're the 06 and Nathan Smith, and Isaac Nichols kind of getting stuck on the high side. So a great start to this race for Parker Davis Enterprises. Ooh, getting a little tedious here. As both of them, the 6 and the 06, stuck on the outside. And here comes Duncan Ward in the Nexus Dodge. Here comes Skep Silver for Dracoan Racing Enterprises to the inside of Carson Miller, to the inside of Isaac Nichols. And our full-time rookie, who's been unbelievable this season. And I think, Stuart, you kind of called this during trucks last year. And we kind of said this jokingly, or Ludovic Charette said this jokingly, semi-serious of Skep Silver 2027 champion, but we're only a handful of races in, and Skep Silver is driving out here like he's going to be a title contender this year the way he's driving as Carson Miller slides backwards.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're all careful to wall. Yeah, just grazed it there. I think it should be okay. But I mean, we talked about Skep. I mean, he's 5th at the points coming into this. You know, he's had a great year so far. Johnson Jameson as well, that 42, basically is a rookie because he, you know, didn't really get a fair crack at it last year. Now, he's done a nice job as well, 6th in the championship. Just on the 41 of Miller, when Nichols was getting past there on that outside, and he's still falling back. That's the danger spot. You don't want to be on the outside in turn 1 because on the outside you have no grip. You're going to plummet back down the order. You get freight trained. That's what's happening to the 41 at the moment. So he ended up going. He didn't follow Duncan Ward. He followed Isaac Nichols, and it's cost him big time because he's dropped outside the top 10 and still on that outside has to get clear. Oh, it gets the wall. It's not going to help his cause. Can he get clear of Masters 78? I think he can, and now Troxel gets pushed out of line as well. And look how much further, you know, look how far back he's dropping now as a result. So tough break for the 62.
Yeah, tough break for the 62, DPJ and Laura Chung back here as well. So there's some other big names here. I mean, I did not have, to Johnson Jameson's credit, I mean, he didn't get a fair shot last year. I didn't have 7 races in, and he is clear-cut the best Toyota driver this season. You've got to give the youngster some serious props, and Skep Silver had to have found the outside wall because that is a super, super fast track to the back of the field for Skep. And unfortunately, that Dracoan Racing Enterprise car is kind of out of the picture here. But hello up at the front of the field because it's Andrew Miller, it's Duncan Ward, it's Isaac Nichols, it's Tanner Parton chasing down the car he drove last year, it's Nathan Smith, and Nichols is going to go right back to the inside of the Nexus Dodge, and it's a Nexus GRT fight up here. And here comes Johnson Jameson, and here comes Rogel Dorn, someone else who had a really tough luck of the run last year. Philip Torres is up here. And that heavy hitter showdown, that heavy hitter slugfest that we have been talking about kind of all season, you building up for this. The Nexus gang, the Warp gang, the GRT cars, we've seen it in the National Series. It's coming to full steam ahead here at the front of this field here in the Gro Thru 400 at Darlington as we're closing in on halfway.
Tanner Parton has really shot up through this field. He was kind of hovering around the top 10, I think, before the pit stops, and he made his way all the way up to 3rd. He's clearly got some speed in this car like he's had all season. And in general, I've just been really impressed by him. He's just been consistent, been, you know, kind of more up front than I think a lot of people expected this season.
Yeah, I mean, and Tanner Parton, you know, he kind of had that hot start last year, but this is starting to become a little bit, we're starting to see, you know, that's one of the things we kind of talked about in the offseason is, you know, we've seen things before, but can you do something to make it a little different, you know, show us something new here. And Tanner Parton, once again, starting strong, but he's on a new, you know, he's at a new program here at Triad Racing. And this momentum's kind of carrying a little more than it had last season. I've seen more out of this 05 car than I did last season. So Tanner Parton, a guy to really just keep your eye on as this season unfolds here. But I have a feeling Andrew Miller, the tires, you know, Stuart, we've seen this time and time again. one guy will be leading, or one guy will be leading the pack. And when the tires start to wear here at Darlington, we're not even 20 laps into the run, but you can see the queue backing up. The tires are starting to really fall off, and these guys behind just don't quite have enough grip to get around Miller as easily as they did, as Nichols is going to try and put him to the outside, and he's going to get to the inside of Andrew Miller here, and now drag racing down the back.
Yeah, it was interesting before because as you see Nichols on that inside in turns 3 and 4, I think he'll get the drive. The 97 started off quicker on this run, but as the runs have gone further along, the 6, for example, has clearly gotten more tyre life. He's been able to manage the tyre a bit more. Look at Jameson there, the 42. He gets around Nathan Smith as well. He's actually going to make 2 positions there at once as Miller gets shuffled out. Dawn and Smith gets shuffled out. Here comes the 23. So all close again, scraping the wall there. I think Smith will be okay. It wasn't that hard of a hit, just a little Darlington stripe. But yeah, it'll be interesting now. Nichols back out in front. You know, Miller was nearly a second up on the 6. You know, after the 6 got passed by Duncan Ward, and that car is just doesn't quite have the tyre grip at the moment. But this guy certainly does. Johnson Jameson, the 42. You remember that, you know, these guys with Sarah Taylor obviously won at Willow Springs a few weeks ago. Jameson finished 2nd. So these cars are very well built for this kind of race and a high tyre wear track. So keep an eye on Jameson. He might have a shot for the win. And the more these guys battle behind, the more time they're going to lose. How about Torres, by the way, the 63, just quietly poking around the top 5?
Philip Torres, you know, really has a lot of questions coming into the season, but I think he's, even though he doesn't have the results necessarily, I jinxed it. I absolutely jinxed it. I was about to give Philip Torres, you know, he's gone under the radar praise, and I'm so sorry, Philip, if you're watching this, as his teammate Bryce Eakin is rapidly closing in on him. Sarah Taylor, Trey Bartow, and Skep Silver lining up behind them. And let's see, DPJ's moving through the field. Darian Arnsdorf into 84. You know, he literally did the first ever win on Saturday, move up on Sunday, I think, in Wawa Cup Series history. So, history-making season so far for Darian Arnsdorf, and not the pace you'd want to see from the 54 machine here, not the pace you want to see from Kirsten Bell, Thomas Troxel, Zayden Davidson struggling. You see some drivers out here in the back of this field today while they have their teammate out front. Avery Alford, to my knowledge, does not have damage, but that car is just deep in the field here. There is some serious trouble here at Team Williams, despite Duncan Ward running up front here today. But let's go back up front because Isaac Nichols was the leader. Johnson Jameson, this is an unbelievable showing from him here today in the pink machine, challenging your driver, Max. And you guys are that win that you guys could have gotten here last year, you know, credit to Duncan Ward. He beat out Nathan Smith fair. Isaac Nichols trying to get back that one that got away last year, but it's a different challenger than I think we were expecting. It's the pink machine of Johnson Jameson giving Isaac Nichols the run for his money.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't really matter who the challenger is. We just gotta, you know, I think pit road is really going to be a deciding factor here as we come to the mid part of this race. So we just kind of got to execute there, and then, you know, after we come off pit road, then we can, you know, start to think about the cars behind. But right now, we just want to run the best laps we can. And try to pull a bigger gap we can.
Yeah, Smith looking strong just like he was here a year ago. So is Duncan Ward. Doesn't have the car he had last year, but he's still running up here in the top 5 and looking very strong. And he's only 1.39 seconds off the lead at the moment. So when we do see those pit stops, you know, we always talk about the undercut versus the overcut. If you keep your distance to the leader by about 3 seconds here, if you're within 3 to 4 seconds of the leader, when you go to make that pit stop, if you get on pit road before they do, you have a chance. If you get a clean out lap, you have a shot to overtake the leader. Braden Perez and Jack Haas, Braden, Haas, Logan Williams, and Rogel Dorn, I think 4 of the 5 fastest cars so far, consistently over the intermediates here. They're going to catch the lapper of Bernardo de Oliveira. We'll see how they navigate their way around him here. But we're settling into a nice, clean groove here. Not seeing as many guys hit the wall here, Stuart. And as we are closing in on halfway here, it is the age-old question here every time we come to Darlington. What do you want to do here for the strategy?
Well, I keep harping on about it every broadcast I'm on. I always like the undercut. Get yourself some fresh tyres. In theory, if you're Isaac or Johnson Jameson here, you get yourself, in theory, some clean track and get going. Especially here at Darlington, where, as you said, you could be 3 or 4 seconds off the lead, and you could make it all up on just with one lap. One lap on the undercut. So, anybody that's really inside this top 10 at the moment, if they play their cards right, you might end up taking the lead at the end of this, after the cycle. But the other thing you got to consider with the undercut, as you see Jameson, he's not letting Nichols get away. I mean, this is very impressive. But, if there is a caution that comes out, that could really muck things up. And, if you're undercut, you could end up on the tail end of the lead lap at the back of the field. So it's an interesting... There's a bit of a risk involved in that, but I always like the undercut. But also see the 2 of the GRT cars there. We've got Egan and Logan Williams battling for position. That's just outside the 10 at the moment. And Trey Bartow up here as well. Another decent run, top 15 on the back of that win last week. So, I would imagine that he would have been so happy and thrilled about what happened last week at Vegas. So, good to see him get back to victory lane. He's in 14th at the moment. And hanging around, he's not that far off the leaders, I reckon. And then Skip Silver not that far back either in 15th. And he's kind of in no man's land because he's got no one behind him. Really, he's got a massive gap back to the cars behind. So I reckon anyone really in the top 15 or so has a shot at winning this race. But really, these 2 cars here are probably the class of the field at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen a caution. It can throw the undercut off. It can throw an overcut off. It can give us one of the craziest fuel rolls that I've ever seen in this game, as we saw in DCS last year when Bryce Egan and myself stretched the fuel tank about 4 laps farther than anybody else, which unbelievable stuff, and went 1-2 in the Southern 500. But it's getting, we're over halfway here, and as Stuart was saying there, this is the interesting part of the race where you're kind of just in a no man's land part of the race where the pit stops are coming up and you don't want to make a mistake. Braden Perez says, I want to make an overtake here. He gets to the inside of Rogel. Dorn gets it done cleanly. Dorn's going to probably lose a few more spots here. So if you're Rogel and you're Intersys Motor Racing, I'm thinking
caution,
that's such a game changer. Oh, hold on, folks. Somebody is down pit road. It is Brian Webb in the 43. He has blown a motor and stopped on the racetrack. We are under caution on lap 41 of 74 in the Gro Thru 400. And everything Stuart just said, throw it out the window because it does not matter now. It is a heads-up race here on pit road here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now it gets very interesting because it comes out at an awkward time, this caution, because it's you've got 33 to go as they cross the line this time. I would imagine they'd be able to make it, but it'd be pretty nip and tuck, pretty close. So, as everybody will come down, naturally, you want tyres, you want to get fuel, because this could well be the last stop of the race. So, and if you're Nichols and Jameson and these guys up at the front, you have to nail the pit stop. You cannot make any mistakes here on pit road because it could cost you a chance of the win if you do make those mistakes. So we'll follow here with Nichols. He's been out in front, led the most laps in this race. We'll see if he can, and this 6 team can nail the pit stop, or will he be jumped? We'll find out.
Yeah, we will see here. This could be the money stop. Will we get another caution? The way this race is trending, you don't know because we don't usually see these kind of cautions come this late in the race here at Darlington. But who drops the jack first? It's Isaac Nichols. He's clear of Johnson Jameson. And Johnson Jameson in that 42 is going to be a player to win this race. Rogel Dorn just had a great pit stop because Rogel lost about 2 or 3 spots there, I think, coming onto pit road on that in lap before the caution came out. Just gained them all back there. So great effort from that 51 crew. And that's a car that has won this race here before because Intersys Motor Racing is effectively Grattan Autos, or is effectively what was Grattan Autosport here. So keep your eye out for the 51 here, guys. Let's not wreck each other. Let's not cause an accident just trying to re-merge. Oh, Blaine Keys. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I got a little scared when I saw the. I think it was the 05 or somebody flew by the 06.
Yeah, I got a little hairy there. We're gonna take a break. We think it was Brian Webb who stopped on track, and we're gonna go take a quick replay here and confirm what happened, and we'll let these drivers sort it all out here and come back to the restart here in Darlington. Well, tough luck for Brian Webb here in the Race and Motorsports car. I mean, his engines come out of the same shop that powered Trey Bartlow to victory last weekend at Las Vegas, and this weekend it takes Brian Webb to the paddock. Quite unfortunate here. Was having a nice top 20 run here and just logging laps in here, but he is going to be out of this race here and coming to a stop on the front straightaway, and we are about to enter a very exciting moment here in the race because we're going to get a late race restart with absolutely none of us were anticipating here at this stage of the race, but we'll be right back here. We're going to take you back to green flag racing here in the Gro Thru 400. Well, welcome back here to the Gro Thru 400. Isaac Nichols, Johnson Jameson, Duncan Ward, Nathan Smith, Andrew Miller, Tanner Parton, Rogel Dorn, Blaine Keys, Jack Haas, Braden Perez, your top 10 with Philip Torres, Bryce Egan, Logan Williams. I'm blanking like an absolute dum-dum right now, but that is Christian Master. Correct me if I'm wrong, in the 78 machine. What a run for Master here. Absolutely showing out here. Trey Bartow looking better this season than he did last year. Darian Arnsdorf looks really good so far in his Cup debut couple weeks here. LJ Semedo having a nice run. Skep Silver, Zayden Davison, Aaron Lukes rounding out the back end of the top 20. Daniel Paulus Jr., Kirsten Bell, Miller, and the rest of the field here still running. Troxel, Kashmir, Chung, some big names having rough days. Avery Alford, Nicholas Samadillo. Well. This is going to be a wild restart here. This is potentially the biggest moment of the race coming up here. We might not get another yellow, but you never know, folks. The way that this race has been going along here so far, it's been Isaac Nichols has the strongest car. But Stuart, I'm going to toss it to you here to take us away here from the restart. Johnson Jameson is looking absolutely a threat to challenge for his first career win here.
Here we go. They're waiting for the flag. Got to cross that, got to get into that restart zone. And there we go. Back underway. Good start for the front two. Not a good start for Duncan Ward. You see that gap that he just got caught napping there a little bit. And we saw last time Andrew Miller, he was able to get around Isaac Nichols pretty quickly. If Johnson Jameson could get around the 6, he might be the man to beat because that car was very good on the long run, which is something that we couldn't really say about Miller. And here he goes to the inside for the lead. Underneath of the 6. Can Nichols get the run on the high side? I don't think so. I think Jameson's going to be able to, not quite clear yet, although I had to check up. And Duncan Ward's right behind. I think Jameson's in a very good position here, Matt.
Yeah, Johnson Jameson going for it all here. He was runner-up to his teammate Sarah Taylor at Willow Springs. And boy, oh boy, what a story this would be for Mahindra to be the second team to get 2 wins here on the season. What a run here from Jameson, and it's the 2 players who came to play and dominated this race last year and led almost the entirety of it. Duncan Ward and Nathan Smith, the more the tables turn, the more they stay the same. Nichols is going to look like he settles down here to the back half of the top 10, but it's Johnson Jameson looking to hold off last year's top 2. And Max, Duncan Ward has had a horrible start to the year. What a better time to climb back up through the points than right now, though, at a track he owned last year. And last year's other podium driver, Tanner Parton, is right in the mix.
Yeah, I feel like with about 10 laps to go, 15 laps to go after a restart, I feel like that's when you kind of stop. Like we saw the 42 really, he was on the back of Nichols, just cannot get around Isaac, and I think you kind of make the move sooner rather than later here if you're the 23 or the 06 here. Maybe not the 06, maybe just a little behind the 23, but yeah, one of these front 3 guys, I think they got to go right now.
Yeah, I think you're Duncan Ward. You got to make a move here because the one guy I really would want to keep an eye on as he's working his way through the field is the 51 of Rogel Dorn. That car looks like it's also getting better and better on the long run here, and Rogel looking to end a long winless streak. Andrew Miller shuffling back. He gets passed by 3 GRT affiliates. Christian Master, Trey Bartow working on challenging for the top 10 here. What a run it's been for him. But this is Johnson Jameson going up against some mighty, mighty opponents here. The new team on Mahindra to the Cup Series up against the defending Constructors Champions of Team Williams and the 23 of Duncan Ward, the defending Drivers Champion and the 2-time Darlington winner. And he's showing his mastery around this place once again. Works the overtake to perfection. And he's going to drag Nathan Smith along here with him. And Stuart, it's not often that we can say we run back a race from a year ago and we get the same players in the same position late in the going. But it's Duncan Ward. And if Nathan Smith can clear Johnson Jameson, he's going to clear him into the wall. Oh my goodness. Aggressive overtake here from the 42. Can he keep it clean and not take anyone else out? It looks like he will. Oh, I did not expect that out of Nathan Smith there. Just plowed through the 42, or door slammed the 42. Keeps it going. Unbelievable sequence of events here. Now Rogel Dorn is battling here for the podium position, and Isaac Nichols Stewart, who just got jumped on the restart, is right back in the fray here with a shot to win.
That was a very awkward move because Jameson, I think he wanted to. Oh, that's a hard hit on the outside wall. That's not just a graze. That's a big slap on the wall to Graham Perez. But that was awkward for Jameson. I think he wanted to get down in front of the 06. Wasn't sure if he was able to, and then Smith centered at the same time. Kind of an awkward collision, and Jameson certainly gets off as the big loser. But Tanner Parton's the big winner because he got around both. He's now second, and he looks pretty racy here. Ward slides up the racetrack a little bit. Oh, is Parton close enough to make a move? There he goes. He's close enough. Down to the inside. He goes for the lead in the 05 for Triad.
This is the peak of the Dodge versus Ford war that we've seen all season in Wawa National. We've been building it up over the course of the season, you know, in the Discord and all the banter and whatnot, but it is coming to fruition here. Every time you come here to Darlington, you know what you're going to get, and today we're getting an absolute slugfest here amongst the heavy hitters here in the Wawa Cup Series. And Jack Haas, who has 2 wins on the season already, he's now in the fray. Blaine Keys is back up here. And don't count out Johnson Jameson or Logan Williams. Logan Williams, the rough end of a 1/1000th of a second side-by-side finish to Jack Haas. Johnson Jameson, I don't think, Max, if he gets back to that 06, he's going to let the 06 go cleanly. But here comes Rogel Dorn as Smith knocks down the wall. Rogel Dorn is shot out of a cannon here late in the going. What a wild race this has turned out to be here late on.
Well, Nathan might have just not let himself get away cleanly right there with putting himself in the wall, but yeah, that was just unfortunate. I think it was just I don't think it was intentional by Nathan right there, but yeah, you don't want to see that happen to a race.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Parton knocks down the wall. The door opens for Dorn. The door stays open for Nichols, and it's Intersys Parker Davis 1-2 here. Parton slides down to third. Duncan Ward, I think he's still got something in that car here as he's holding on to the 4th position, but what a run here for Rogel Dorn. He's looked fantastic so far throughout the start of the season. Didn't have a great day at Daytona, but he's got 2 top 5s already on the year. He's got 4 top 10s. He has one of the best average finishes in the series. And boy, oh boy, I mean, we've talked about a lot this season about Johnson Jameson and just how bad it was for him last year. Didn't even get a chance to make a start. I mean, Rogel Dorn, it was about as bad as it could be for a driver who got to make every start. And what a turnaround this has been here, but it's not over yet. Max, I mean, that 6 car is not going away. He lost a lot on that initial restart, but he's right back here in second. And he's dragging a whole bunch of hungry Dodges with him back up to the front of this field.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of long run speed. We were, us and Jameson were kind of able to pull away from those. To the guys behind him on the second green flag run. I knew this would be a long run race, so that's kind of what we were aiming for. And made up about 2/10 on that lap right there. So I think that tells you a lot you need to know.
Yeah, I think it tells you a lot you need to know. And I think, we always say, watch out for the tracks that you come back to in the chase. Watch out for the track types that you come back into in the chase, because these speedways, folks, well, it is the old adage that has developed over the past few years, but these are the tracks that ultimately decide the championship. The penultimate race is Darlington. The season finale is Homestead. We've been to Homestead. We're here at Darlington, and we're seeing a lot of these same heavy hitters, Stuart. They are coming out to play here, whether it's the sister cars or the main hitters that we saw at Homestead. We're seeing the top dogs here of the series once again coming out to play here and dominating Darlington. Because we got a great battle building up there. Bartow's moving his way through the field, but all these drivers that we're looking at here right now, I think a lot of this top 10, the way that this race is unfolded, Stuart, we're going to see a lot of this top 10 here back in action with a shot to win the championship later in the season.
Oh, definitely, no doubt about that. And, Matt, remind me, when was the last time I saw a Samsung 51 Ford lead a race at Darlington? Good memories, that one. Rogel's done a nice job. Well, the thing about Rogel as well, he started 21st. It's not like he started up the front of the field. He's had to work his way through the field. He's done a very nice job of things here in this race. But since he's hit the front, it's like the car just, I don't know, it's not quite as fast in clean air as it is in dirty air, which is an interesting phenomenon. But Nichols is still fast. There's no doubt about that. He's been up here all day. He's led so many laps, and even when he got shuffled back, he could have dropped back down in the order, but he's recovered. He's now back up to second, and now starting to pull away from Parton, who was applying the blowtorch earlier on in this stint. He was all over the back of the six. So again, maybe not quite the long run speed they would have hoped for, but I'll tell you what, Nichols is certainly closing in. By the way, shout out to Darian Arnstorff, who's 10th at the moment, just quietly. Doing a very good job in car 84. He's dropped off the back of this pack a little bit, but top 10 here at Darlington would be very impressive. Of course, he won the pole in the finale last year, so I'm not terribly surprised. But we've got 10 laps to go next time by. You see, your two cars, Matt, are not quite a bit further down the order. Saw maybe the damage having an impact on Perez's car. He got that outside wall very hard. Paula started a long way back and hasn't quite worked out. But with 10 laps to go, we'll see if it looks like Dawn now has just eked out a bit of a gap here on this lap. We'll see if Nichols can close back in.
Yeah, Nichols, obviously, I think we all joke about it, and we've really gone the entire broadcast without doing any serious gaslighting here, for our great mega alliance that we have formed here. But, I always say, it's like we all do, I think. We obviously, the three of us field our own cars, and we all want to see our cars win. But it is fun, we get to see the Alliance, any of the Alliance cars win and do really well here. And this is a track that our philosophy definitely, it comes to light very well here. And we've always, obviously, we'll talk about it for forever. But that one time here at Darlington, on a crisp Labor Day weekend in 2024, one of the absolute best Wawa Cup Series races of all time. I have no shame in saying that.
Yeah, I have no shame in saying that either. Totally right.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love Rogel Dorn paying tribute to Ludovic Charet's legendary win here. But, great spot here for two of the best drivers in the Alliance really coming to play here today at Darlington. And more times than not, if you come out here and show out really strong here in the spring Darlington, you're going to be back here later in the season, and you're going to have a shot to go for the championship here. And handful of laps to go. The laps are ticking down here, Max. I mean, what is the what do you think some of these drivers got to do here? Are you just trying? Do you think Duncan Ward can make a run here now as he got cleared by Tanner Parton and everybody jumps him?
I mean, I just don't think he has the time Duncan does, unfortunately. I mean, this is definitely his best run of the season. So, yeah. Not like the win I predicted, but I think he's gaining momentum. And I think the 6 is kind of the roadblock for him. I think he used up his stuff trying to get to the 51. He closed in, just couldn't quite hold on. Yeah, he lost 0.3 that lap. So I think But
Oh,
lap car.
that's interesting.
This could play an effect here on Dorn's hopes of winning this race, but we'll see.
Oh, you got
Bad time to run into the zero. Bad
That
time to
was
run into the
Really
zero.
bad time.
Yeah, that was the worst time on the racetrack. If you run into the zero in turn one, Dorn likely just blows the doors off the zero, as we're going to see right here.
Oh, he's going to have to send it in there. Wow.
My voice is leaving my body late in the go into this race. I was not expecting that, but totally here for it. Had a great time here. Getting to call my second ever Wawa Cup race. As the lead comm and getting to do it with the boys is always amazing. Isaac Nichols, he could back up Duncan Ward to Nathan Smith and potentially get a double PDE podium here. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold off the 23 and keep behind the zero for that long, but they get around the zero. They get around him cleanly. Can Smith and Haas work their way around here quickly? Shout out Johnson Jameson. I do want. Hold on.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
Guys.
This is. Hold on to your horses, folks. We're not done yet. We're not done yet here in Darlington. We have 3 laps to go here, and we have car Johnson Jameson. This is.
We thought this race. I thought this race was basically over for Dorn, but now, who knows who's gonna win?
Oh no, and Stuart, we were talking about it after that caution. Oh my goodness.
I did think, I said it because it's about a 32 lap run, so it's pretty close on fuel. So some of these guys have decided, you know what, we're not even going to risk it. We're just going to come in. We'll see if, 2 laps to go, can Rogel Dorn just needs to conserve fuel, basically, because he's got it on lock. He's nearly 2 seconds up. He's in a very good position. He's just got to conserve fuel. We'll see here, coming to the white flag this time. We'll see if he has to pit, or will he be able to go the distance.
That might have been why the 6 backed off so much. He might not have had the.
He might not have had, or the 06
guarantee that he had. All these top front runners are going to make it around to the white flag. But we'll see if they run out on the last lap or.
We've seen it before on the channel. One famous moment that I can think of here, but a masterful drive here from Rogel Dorn here today. The only almost a little disappointing. Ludovic Charette couldn't have joined us for a 4-team booth here of all GRT folks, but off of turn number 4, it is going to be a victory for Rogel Dorn. Finally breaks the winless drought, and after a miserable 2025, the Dutch superstar finds his way back to the top of the leaderboards here in the Wawa Cup Series, and Rogel Dorn, a winner again here in the Wawa Cup Series. Isaac Nichols, despite a dominating performance, comes home in second, and the first GRT win of the year, fittingly, is a 1-2 finish for the boys. And also fittingly, there's a Nexus Dodge on the podium to join us, and Duncan Ward comes home third. Blank Keys, great rebound after a terrible opener on the first lap to come home fourth. Hats off to him. Logan Williams, another solid run. His time is coming soon. Jack Haas, I will still say I think he is the man to beat so far through a handful of races. Nathan Smith, a great run from him. Trey Bartow. How about LJ Semedo finding his way into the top 10? We talk about Titan Fury on the road courses and the super speedways, but what a great run for him. His DPJ just missed out on a top 10 here, and Braden Perez, I think, actually, despite that heavy damage, at least got a solid finish out of this here. But I think this is the part where I bring Alex back in here, and Alex, I think we were about a lap away from Fontana 2024 all over again there.
Yeah, that was close. I think what might have happened there on that last cycle is that some teams actually maybe took 1.5 cans and some took 2, because there's definitely seemed to be a pattern on which teams were up there and didn't have to come down and which teams did not. And a lot of those experienced teams did not have to come down at the end. And then a lot of the ones that are relatively new did. So very unfortunate break for Darian Arnsdorf and Johnson Jameson in particular, and Tanner Parton. All 3 of them had a top 10 in their hands. and could not make it to the end. There was only a few guys. Christian Master was another one there, and Thomas Troxel again with a poor run. He was the pole sitter for this race, finished 40th. Tough break for those guys on the fuel window there, and that caution kind of came out at an odd time. I thought we were going to be fine on the fuel, but some of these guys are playing some interesting strategies as well. And you guys at GRT, most of the Nexus, well, yeah, a couple of the Nexus guys, Duncan Ward, Jack Haas have had a good run in this race. Barto backing up his win at the top 10. I've had Zane Davidson there. A good run for him. I think it might be his first top 10 of the season. And it actually is. That's his best finish. And Paulus, we didn't talk about Paulus all race long. Finds himself in 11th, which I think, considering where he started, I think you got to be happy about that, Matt. I mean, that's a lot better than what he did back in September. Aaron Lukes in 12th, Carson Miller 13th, Skip Silver, Andrew Miller, Alex Enro 16th, Brain Perez. I mean, LJ Cemento's a great run there. Not to knock him, but everyone else who's around him there, those are race-winning cars and contenders that have really run strong consistently this season. Very fun race here at Darlington. We saw a lot of interesting things take place, and in the end, GRT had the advantage. Rogaldorn gets the win. First win since 2024 at Nashville for Rogaldorn here in the Wawa Cup Series, but he's back in victory lane. He's going to be your new points leader as well, going into the 100th race of the Wawa Cup Series next Friday night at Martinsville Speedway. And we all remember what happened there a year ago. Matt, I know you remember this one. It was Paulus ahead of Hubert, the closest finish of the season. I think at the time it might have been the closest finish, or maybe the second closest finish in Wawa Cup Series history. I think there was a Valvoline 400 that was pretty close one year, but I tell you what, we're looking forward to it. Hard to believe we're going to be hitting 100 races in this series next week in Martinsville, but we're very excited for that one, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing how that plays out. But Rogaldorn getting it done here at the Darlington Raceway. I'll let you guys have some final thoughts on this race, and what are you looking forward to next week at Martinsville? The 100th Wawa Cup Series event, the STP Old Dominion 500. Going to be a lot of fun there at the paperclip.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first thing is, we want to run it back and get both the cars back in the shot to victory lane here. Braden, I think, had a shot to go to victory lane today. Just didn't work out for him. 17th is tough. Tanner Parton and Johnson Jameson, who he is battling in the points, getting bad finishes, kind of softens the blow a little bit there. DPJ did start 28th on the outside, so getting an 11th out of that's nothing to scoff at here. So yeah, I mean, I expect to see them back up front. Rogaldorn, that's a championship caliber effort here from Rogaldorn, and you look over the history of the Darlington races in the Wawa Cup Series, I think almost everyone has been won by either a championship driver or a driver who was very, very close to a championship. So is that some sort of telltale sign? I don't know. Nichols had a great run. Duncan Ward also, maybe he's turning a corner there at Team Williams. Side note real quick, really cool to get to sponsor a Wawa Cup race. We'll have some stuff on the Gro Thru line dropping for you guys here really soon here. Not to plug in a race, but I did sponsor it.
You're sponsoring, so you're allowed
to. Gotta plug it a little here, but yeah, that's coming
sponsoring.
Soon.
You're not actually
quote unquote.
It's all good.
Hey, you'll get things soon.
Yes.
But yeah, super cool to get to do that and slap a logo that I actually my own logo on a Wawa Cup Series race, and super fun to get to do it here with the boys, and second time getting a call at GRT 1-2.
That was a lot of fun with the GRT 1-2, obviously being part of it. But it's a good point you actually raised about this track. Duncan Ward won both races here last year. Ludovic Charette won the championship, that final race in 2024. So the last three races prior to this were won by the eventual champion. So is that an omen for Rogaldorn? Maybe not. Obviously, there's a lot of the season left to play out. But the 51's been quick. There's no doubt about that. He was fourth in points coming into this race. And it's not surprising, I think, to anyone, really, to see this car up at the front. And he's going to be a contender for the championship. But, I mean, Nichols is going to be fast all year, you'd imagine. Duncan Ward, Blaine Keys, Logan, Jack Haas has won twice already. Nathan Smith's up there. Barto came in, 11th in points. I mean, a lot of the heavy hitters up here, and even guys like, I think Jameson he'll be disappointed because he had a shot to win and ends up finishing 33rd. But yeah, he'll be, if he keeps that pace up, he'll be a contender. And Parton's been very strong this year, second in the championship. So, I mean, it's kind of what you expected. A lot of the heavy hitters up at the front of the field, and yeah, it was a very, very entertaining race. And those two cautions threw it around a bit, and the kind of timing of that second caution was very awkward in that some guys had to pit at the end. So, yeah, quite an interesting race here at Darlington.
Yeah, as a I'm happy with the run. Both my drivers had would like to win, obviously, but GRT 1-2 will satisfy that for me. So yeah, for Martinsville, we just hope to have the same results we did here. Just be competitive all day, qualify well, be to a short track.
It's going to be a lot of fun next week in Martinsville, no doubt about it. I'm excited for that race, and it's not going to be to the level of the 10th anniversary race a year ago, but it's going to have a little bit of a feel to that because this has been such a fun series to do over the past 3.5 years, and the fact that we've made it to this point with this series is quite incredible, and it does not feel in any way like it's been that long at all. But here we are, about to hit 100 Wawa Cup Series races, and you guys have made this series what it is, of course, and we talk about all the alliances and the teams. That's all you guys, especially you guys who were calling this race, and that has really made a very interesting dynamic here in the Wawa Cup Series that I never thought would happen when I came up with the idea to do this ratings-based series. But it's been a heck of a lot of fun to just see these drivers be good year after year after year. We know Rogel Dorn's one of the best drivers on the grid, and it's no surprise to see him get this win here today. And great to see him back in victory lane as well, because after what happened last year, that is definitely a much-needed victory, and one I think that is very much expected from that team and that organization, and he's going to be your points leader once we're said and done here from Darlington. So here we go. Here are the point standings after 7 races here in the 2026 season. We'll see you guys next Friday night for the STP Old Dominion 500 from Martinsville Speedway, the 100th Wawa Cup Series race. Going to be a lot of fun there for 125 laps at Martinsville. Going to be here for a little while on Friday night, and we love that race. It's always so much fun in Martinsville. We had the closest finish of the 2025 season at Martinsville a year ago. We'll see what we get this year. Huge thanks to Matt Tuck, Max Davis, Stuart Gretton for calling this. I think we might go ahead and try some things with this idea. Of course, I'll be calling the race next week for Martinsville, no doubt about that, so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But we're looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes with all these guys. And hey, when it comes out, Matt's got something down the pipeline. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and check it out. You'll see it in the server. He'll definitely be pushing it in the server, plugging it in the server. That's what the kids say, I guess. I don't know. Rogel Dorn wins here at Darlington. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 7 races. And on behalf of Matt Tuck, Max Davis, and Stuart Gratton, I will see you guys later.